This podcast is brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy. Keep Joy on air by becoming a member, a subscriber, or donate. Head to joy.org.au. Joy, a diverse sound for a diverse community.
Theatre, film, TV and more. Suzy Rong reviews it all on Joy Drive.
Suzy Rong in the studio at the Pride Centre. How are you?
I'm good.
What do you... have you got a question? You normally ask me a question.
I'm not asking a question. I'm waiting for you to ask me the obvious question.
What are you doing here? You snuck into the Pride Centre, surprised us.
I'm here for the Grand Prix.
What? Are you really?
No. I'm not here for the Grand Prix.
It's just down the road.
I saw. We travelled past it.
Are you driving?
I'm driving something. No, I'm here to see the exhibition at the National Gallery of Victoria. I always like to pop in when they do a fashion-related show, and this time they're doing Vivienne Westwood and Rei Kawakubo, which is very interesting for me, so I'm seeing that tomorrow. And obviously, on the way to the gallery, I'm always trying to pop in here and spend some real time with you.
Oh, I love it. I'm so pleased to see you. You've come in person, because we always talk to you on the line from Sydney as such. But Suzy, you gave us a movie to watch yesterday.
And what a movie!
Oh, I saw the picture. Oh my goodness, am I going to be able to watch this movie? It was called PILLION. Do you want to give us your review at first?
In the beginning, Colin was mild and a little meek, out to everyone as gay, but definitely very vanilla in persuasion. When he meets Leather Daddy Ray, however, the chemistry proves undeniable, and thereafter Colin's life turns much spicier. This week's movie title is Pillion, and you can watch it at cinemas everywhere. While Pillion is more dom-com than rom-com, it is not without humour. Indeed, some moments are truly laugh-out-loud hilarious. Nevertheless, the film offers an extremely honest and some might say serious exploration of BDSM culture. In the context of a movie, the relationship between Colin and Ray looks unusual. It is simply not something that we often see on the big screen. Depending on your personal life and sexual proclivities, though, it may not appear all too exotic. Still, meaningful analyses of BDSM dynamics are rarely made in such a thorough and thoughtful way in media, and Pillion is, I think, highly successful in being provocative in the best ways. Ray is the most classically attractive man, played by Alexander Skarsgård, and Colin is very much the boy next door that everybody ignores, played by Harry Melling. What they do for each other is presented in Pillion as curious, but also highly convincing. We can see how much they excite each other, yet we can't stop wondering what it is that make these people tick. Why does Ray make such unreasonable demands, and why does Colin so readily submit to them? It makes us wonder, if all this is consensual, why do we care to question so much of what they do? If pleasure is mutual and consensual, does it automatically make it a healthy preoccupation? Making sex an intellectual exercise can be a lot of fun, but I have also learned that it is often best to just let the pleasure be, not try to deconstruct too much of what all this implies, in case your reliable turn-ons get explained away and they stop triggering your hotspots. Pillion is exactly the kind of film that I love. It's naughty and it's smart, and you should really check it out for yourself, especially if you're more than a little sexually adventurous. Warren, very sexy movie.
Oh, it was very, very sexy movie indeed. Who did you identify with the most? Do you reckon Colin?
I'm nothing like Colin.
No, nothing?
I'm nothing.
Colin was the submissive one.
Yeah.
Or Ray?
I'm definitely Ray.
So do you make your men sleep on the floor?
I tell them to F off and go home. I don't even let them sleep on the floor. I am very much Ray. I think the big difference between Ray and me is Ray does it as a whole lifestyle, doesn't it? You know, at the key moment when he has to let that go, we can see that it's a little bit difficult for him. I am very the other way around. I am that person, you know, an hour or two at a time, and then
get out.
And then I've had enough. I cannot have it as an entire person.
What do you do if someone wants to hang around?
I tell them right from the start that, yeah, this is the kind of this is the kind of experience I like in the bedroom, but it is limited to the bedroom and only for a really short time. I am not a complete dom person 24/7.
Suzy, you know what? I saw the picture for this movie, and it's have a look at it. It is called Pillion, and it's a guy in his motorcycle leathers, and it took me right back to being a teenager, because the first inclination that I ever had that I was attracted to men was men on motorcycles. And I don't know what it was. There was something about it. There was, and I still can't explain it to this day, because I don't have the attraction as so much now as an adult. I've explored myself, but as a teenager, I would be looking at every motorcycle. Like, I remember going down the beach and they'd be parked there, and I'd be like almost salivating, just looking at the guys pulling up on their bikes. And there's at Yarra Boulevard around here in Melbourne, they all ride and pull up. And of course, I would go on my little push bike and just go there and go, there's something about them that is just, I don't know, it's stirring something up inside. And I think it was the leather aspect of it, of what they were wearing. I don't know. I was too young, but there was a feeling that it was getting. And it turned out that I ended up getting my motorcycle license so that I could hang out with these guys that were riding, on this sort of curvy track.
Was that before you came out?
No, I was out, but I wasn't out to them. They were all straight, but I'd go and hang out with them. But little did they know that they were kind of turning me on, the fact that I was there with them. And I remember, I'd go to the pubs here, the gay pubs, on my motorbike in full leathers, and I could see guys who were like me being attracted. And I had a helmet on. You couldn't see who I was. My face was covered with this black helmet and this sort of visor that you couldn't see through, but I could see that it was sparking. There's something about that. Is it anonymity? Yeah, anonymity of being hidden behind
the helmet.
A helmet, and not knowing who it is. I don't know what it was, but it was something that certainly sparked my initial feelings of desire.
I can see that performative masculinity to be very attractive.
Yeah.
It is one of those really over-the-top masculinity culture. I can see how that's attractive. But I've also learned that for some people, just the mere idea of leather clothing is extremely exciting for some people. Yeah, for some people, it's just the fabric of it. Some people really love PVC, that shiny stuff, and it just does something to some people.
It was the leather for me, and I know a lot of people will identify this that did something. But when it came to this power thing that you see in the movie, that's when I got really turned off. Yeah, I sort of like, look, I really appreciate you and what you look like in that outfit, in those leathers, or the harness, or whatever it is. You look really good. But when you want me to go down on the boots, no.
So you've always had your desire in more of an equal level playing field.
Exactly. But in this movie, there isn't that equality.
Oh, no.
And as I was watching it, I was thinking, what would I do in that situation? Because I'd be so attracted to the man riding that motorbike, but the performative behaviour would kind of disconnect me a little bit from it.
Right. So if you were really attracted to Ray, say, and he has these demands of you, would you try?
I would try, yeah. I'd try. I'd be like Colin in the first scene where it was kind of awkward.
Very awkward when he didn't know what was coming. So you would try, and then... But are you saying that you've tried and you know now that it's not your thing?
Yeah, no, it's not.
But you've tried though?
But definitely tried.
Okay.
Definitely tried. What I wanted to ask you though is there's something about motorbike culture, isn't there? There's something hyper masculine about it. Wearing the leather, the engines, that brum brum, the noise, the dominance that comes into it. But I suppose queer storytelling in a way often peels that back, doesn't it, when we're talking about it? But is the fantasy destroyed when we pull it back to what's really behind the helmet?
I think sometimes it is, but like in what I was saying earlier, what's destroyed is the desire. I feel like sometimes I have chats with my lovers and they say, I wonder why this thing or that thing particularly has such a powerful effect on me. And I always say, you know how you really enjoy that thing? I think you need to leave it alone. Because I think if you demystify it, you might lose that thing that's your favorite thing in the world.
You mean in terms of not understanding it? So don't question it. Don't intellectualize.
Yeah, I feel like you risk, the more you understand it, the more that you're going to, the less that it's going to have the kind of powerful effect on it. That's my belief.
Do you think that wearing leather is just another form of drag?
Yes, I guess. Although, the drag that we understand isn't kind of directly meant as a sexual provocation, I don't think. It's one of the things. It could be one of the things that when someone's in drag, they feel like they're sexually powerful. But I don't think they kind of put on drag and then head out to the world thinking that, oh, this is going to give me that sexual power and people are going to be drawn to me in a sexual way. I don't think that's what they think. In fact, they think that, oh, when I come out in drag, when a man comes out in drag, especially, they'll think that, oh, nobody is going to be interested in sleeping with me.
We're chatting with Suzy Wrong about the movie Pillion. Suzy, do you reckon the film challenges what tough means? Because if we look at Ray, he's playing this tough man that wears these full bike leathers, rides his bike, doesn't give away too much emotions, treats Colin sort of, I suppose, as a submissive person. Do you think that he's portraying himself as being tough?
He is portraying himself as being tough, especially to himself. He wants to perform this role for himself. I was so into the movie. I got so excited by all these ideas in the movie, I had to kind of Google and find out more. And it turns out it was a little novel. And a little novel called Box Hill, and it had a little subtitle saying something like a story about people with low self-esteem.
Oh.
Which
referring to Colin?
Initially, you think it's about Colin because, he looks like he's doing these really demeaning things and you're thinking, well, why are you letting him do all these things to you? You don't feel too badly because he's obviously enjoying himself. But by the end of the film, I went, oh, he's talking about Ray.
See, I didn't think of that. So I don't want to spoil it, but there is, in the initial opening of the film, you see Colin cooking a pasta meal for Ray, and Ray taps the sofa as if to say, come and sit down, but it's for the dog to come and sit down. And so Colin just stands there behind him holding this meal for himself. I don't even know if he eats it or not, but that's essentially what happened. I mean, my heart sank for Colin then. I fell for it, and I was trying to think, what would I do in that situation? Like, I'd be tempted to tip the meal on top of his head and say, hey, dog, move out of the way.
Well, you're not Colin. Colin, it almost looked like Colin needed it to grow up.
Do you think?
And I do hear stories a lot about that. No, to be frank, I have encountered people like that. They would be very excited by this kind of quite what seems quite extreme kind of submission. And then sometimes they grow out of it because they kind of become a man in that process. Sometimes they don't grow out of it, but they grow in other ways. They do become more of a man, quote unquote man. But they still love playing that role, but they grew up within that. We're
chatting with Suzy Wrong about the film, the movie. It is called Pillion. You can catch it in cinemas now. Luke from Windsor says, welcome back, Suzy. I missed you.
Oh, thank you.
And this one here saying, hoping Joss and myself get to meet up with Suzy this evening in the studio. They're coming in to meet you. There you go. Suzy Wrong in the studio with me. What I wanted to ask you also is, do you reckon, though, with Ray... This is kind of funny because I think I used to know a biker called Ray. Do you think he's a tender man underneath all this hard, tough exterior?
I would say that he's not a tender man in the sense that he's not able to get himself to behave in a tender way. And I don't think tender is about feelings. I think tender is about how how you show up in the world. There clearly is a side that is vulnerable and sensitive about him. There's no question in the film. I think the performance is great. I think the direction is great. Without him ever revealing in words, you can see in really important scenes that, there's a real person in there. But he just cannot come to terms with that person. He just cannot deal with his own identity having a soft side. So if he's not bringing out the tenderness then he's not a tender person. And clearly he doesn't want to be.
Suzy, I'm going to share with you a little personal experience.
Oh my God. Always the best thing is when you humiliate yourself on the show.
I'm going to humiliate myself. But one thing I do love about the leather community is they do belong to each other. You know, there's a community there, and I love that. They support each other. They do belong, and I think that's really admirable. Something that I really like. You're dying for my story, aren't you? Do you know, once I loved motorbikes so much, and I met this guy, and he said to me, "Warren, come on over." And I went over, and he said, "Do you want to go?" I think I was probably 18 or something. He said, "Do you want to go for a ride on my motorbike?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to. Can I be pillion on the back?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "But you have to put on this little red skirt first." To hop on the back of the bike. Look at you looking. Did I do it or not? What do you reckon?
I think you wouldn't have done it. Oh, did she do it?
What do you reckon?
I'd say no.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. I was so desperate to get on the back of the bike.
Because of what? Oh, you had a crush on him?
Yeah, absolutely. Not that there's anything, there's no shame in that. I'm not saying, but for me at the time, it was something that there's no way I would do. But I did it. I thought I was so desperate to get on the back of the motorbike with him.
So I'm assuming you loved being on the bike with him, but you didn't.
I was uncomfortable. We went 2 houses and I said, I can't do this.
You were uncomfortable in the skirt and you didn't enjoy the humiliation part of it.
No, didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't love it. Didn't like it at all.
Then you learned that this is probably not the right person for you.
One thing I do admire, though, is there's intimacy without words when you're on the back of the bike. And, you know, you've got your arms wrapped around them because you have to, and you have to lean with them as they go into a curb. There is an intimacy there, but it's unspoken. And I like that build-up. I think that's really intense.
Yeah, maybe that's what Ray needs. He needs the intimacy to be unspoken.
He does. Suzy Wrong, always good to chat with you. There, you've got another story out of me.
I love that.
Full of surprises.
Oh, my God. I can see you in a little red skirt.
What are we watching next week?
Next week, we look at House of Black Miss First Nation on SBS, in which 8 First Nations drag performers compete for the title of Miss First Nation in this docuseries about pride, visibility and community. House of Black on SBS for when I see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another Joy podcast brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy. Help keep Joy on air. Head to joy.org.au. Joy, a diverse sound for a diverse community.